Hello everyone, I am Sarah Gould and I'm here with Matt Day, a Hope alum who graduated in 2011 with a communication degree from Hope. Matt is currently the social media strategist for Beam Suntory, and thank you for being here today, Matt.
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. First, I just really want to hear about your experiences at Hope College, your freshman year coming in, and just kind of what you thought you were going to get out of Hope College.
Freshman year coming in was amazing. It was freezing, but it was amazing. As a high school student, looking for places to go, it was one of those places, I think we all share the same experience. When you come to Hope initially for your first tour and campus visit, immediately, I think all the students here just know it's their place to be. So freshman year was great. I came in a little bit early playing football here, so immediately met a bunch of people, made a lot of new friends. Dean Krebs was the coach and still the coach. Lived in Collin Hall. But coming here freshman year was just amazing, meeting a lot of people, all of which that you're still friends with today. And really started diving into, just my freshman year, what I'm doing now.
Did you come to Hope thinking you were going to have a certain profession or a certain major right away and then change your mind?
Yeah. So immediately when you're in high school, a lot of family members say, you need to be a doctor or a lawyer or some type of white collar job. And, Hope had amazing pre-professional programs. My parents were nurses, my stepdad was a doctor, my sister was starting a nursing school and wanted to be a PA down in Western Michigan University. And so I came in thinking that's what I wanted to do. And it didn't get too long into Hope where I wanted to do more creative things. Like I wanted to start planning events around campus. I wanted to start, really getting involved in like the posters that you start seeing on the wall, and really started into my first round of poorly making ads. You start making something that creates a reaction out of somebody else. So around my beginning of my sophomore year, I started thinking, maybe this more creative route is right for me versus the medical route.
So that is when you change your mind to communication, correct?
Yeah, I changed my major to communication. I sat down with my advisor and had an awkward family Christmas dinner, saying I was the only one in the family that wasn't going to go into some type of science. Right. But my advisor was great about it. It was she actually brought it up and said, you'd be pretty great in either creative writing or English or communications. Have you thought about that? And it's, without even thinking about it, I have thought about that, and I thought about that a lot. So it was a late transition to change majors, mid-sophomore year, but it ended up being a very smooth and beneficial one.
Your senior year, what did you do to prepare yourself for that first job interview or any opportunities you would get graduating Hope College?
Well, it actually starts, your junior year, and now it should almost start sooner than your junior year. Heading into my senior year, I started looking for as many internships as possible, especially the end of your junior year, to start getting as much professional experience. So when you go for your first job, you have something to show for it. So I was in the Career Development Center all the time. I was talking to my advisor all the time. What job openings are there? Checking JobStop. I don't know if that's still around.
Oh yes.
But checking JobStop and asking professors, are there any internships out there? And a lot of them at the time, were unpaid internships. But you have to do what you can do in order to get your foot in the door and really learn. And that's what I really try to do going into my senior year, is learning as much as possible. And it didn't really change anything from class. When you go to class, you try to learn as much as you can. But then when you leave class and you go into the workforce, you try to learn as much as you can from the professionals around you. So my senior year, going into my senior year, I had one internship after another. So when I left Hope, I had 3 of them.
Can you explain a little bit more about the certain and specific internships you had and how that helped you prepare for what you're doing today?
Yeah, sure. My first one was with Crane Interface. They were a company right on 8th Street that was in vehicle telematics. And so it was a technology company, and they were a startup. And it was super awesome because it was paid, but it was also cool because since it was so small, you had a chance to touch a lot of different areas that you normally wouldn't. It wasn't just what they were doing on the web. You also got to have a hand in writing press releases. And so 1 minute I'm in class learning how to write press releases, and I'm literally taking what it says in the book and in notes and taking that to the internship and said, this is what the book says about writing press releases. And I started doing that and learning about how you write different things in a press release to get a reaction out of the press. And so the first internship experience was a great one. We ended up getting spots in Wood TV 8, in the Holland Sentinel, in the Grand Rapids Press, all from a couple press releases that I was able to write early on, which I think they're still in hopes like Holland Sentinel archive.
And that was your senior year?
Yeah, that was my senior. Awesome. That was my senior year, and it was like really, really, really cool to be able to see how that's done and how the news comes and how they write a story about you. And the one story led to another where they said, okay, well, would you mind doing a radio interview on 104.5 for the morning show for this product? And I said, sure, why not? And they go, well, it's, a pretty highbrow radio show. Is that something that we want to do? I was like, yeah, even if it's a bad experience, there's ways to turn bad experience into good experiences with the right answers, which you learn a lot in media classes and external communication. So it was a lot jam-packed in that one internship. The next experience was Varsity News Network. That was an unpaid internship and working a little bit with the Holland Zealand Community Foundation. But my full-time job here was at Phelps Hall. So in between all of that, you have to do some things that can pay the rent and get you some couple free meals, and that was it.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So your senior year, it seems like you had a lot going on, and a lot of people like to say their senior year is kind of a relaxed, just trying to graduate year, but not for you. It seemed like you got a lot done, and that's a good idea for everyone at Hope to take advantage of all the internships. How has everything your senior year at Hope led you into your future job? How did you get that interview to get that successful job that you have currently?
Really, it was every experience at Hope, not just your senior year. There was a tremendous professor here, Rhoda Jansen, who was probably the biggest inspiration I had, the most influential teacher I've had here at Hope, who would issue Ds for grammar errors in papers. And I remember getting some paper back, and I was like, excellent essay, D. And going over it, what you learn later is she's teaching you, don't make mistakes like that. You can have the most brilliant pitch, you can have the most brilliant idea, but if you do something that marks it down or takes down a peg or two, what's the worth? And it teaches you to stick your landing a little bit. So sophomore year, you learn the importance of good work and thorough work. And then you get into some of these the public presentation classes, which teach you how to present yourself, how to move your hands, as I'm moving them, how to speak clearly, and how to present certain ideas in order to get the right response that you want from your audience. Then all the creative writing classes, took a ton of English classes and grammar classes to really get that writing skill down. So it was really every single year, but up to the senior year, that's when you start networking. And so many students turn that on, their senior year, I'm going to start the job hunt. But really, the people in the career services department should know you by your first and last name by your freshman or sophomore year. You should have a professor every semester that sees your best work. So you can call them on them for references. You can say, hey, I'm going for this job. Can I have a letter of a recommendation? Do you know anyone that's hiring? So by the time my senior year came around, you're able to use the references from the internships and a couple professors to be references for you, so you're not just going in blind. But really, it was every single year and every single interaction with the professor that I had at Hope that really prepared me for life after college.
Okay, so it definitely seemed like Hope College prepared you in the 4 years or so you were here for your future and current job right now. Can you tell us a little bit about what you are doing currently?
Yeah, currently I am the community manager and social media strategist for a company called Beam Suntory. And they are notable for housing some of the world's most famous whiskey and spirit brands that are out there. So Beam Suntory, name on the door. So the brands I'm in charge of are the whiskey brands. So I am the community manager and social media strategist for Jim Beam, Knob Creek, Lafroig Scotch, Two Gingers Whiskey, Canadian Club, our American Still House in Claremont, Kentucky, Old Crow, Old Overholt, and Old Grandad.
Those are some popular brand names of whiskey. What do you do on a daily basis for your job then?
Yeah, and every day, the job's always different. Social media changes on the time, but day to day, I'll come in the morning, and even before the morning, check what's going on in the communities, see our social mentions, see what fans are saying, and start responding. So start tweeting out things, responses on Facebook, responses on Instagram. Right after that, it's more, meetings. What are we going to do? How are we going to keep pushing the ball? How do we keep progressing, this strategy? So a lot of times you're on the phone with Facebook, you're on the phone with LinkedIn, you're on the phone with Google. What's coming out? How can we apply it? But then it's more checking the communities, making sure you're staying up to date with what's going on with your fans and how your brand can help. That's how I usually spend my days.
Wow, so every day is pretty much different then.
Yeah, during my favorite days are Mondays because no one's out drinking on a Monday, so I could come in and kick the feet up and get caught up on your reading and emails and things like that. But usually Fridays and Saturdays around 8 p.m. that's when we start getting a lot more mentions, and so the job becomes a little busier.
Right. Well, awesome, and congratulations on all your success so far.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Matt Day. This has been Sarah Gould from Hope College